back at it, folks. Howdy, 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 and welcome to Thriving in the Transition, the podcast. Season 3, Episode 2. Folks, I've got to tell you, this is just like riding a bike. A big, awkward bike that you borrowed from your little cousin. It's got a banana seat and streamers on the handlebars. You know, just like that. I'm humbled and blessed to be able to bring this podcast to you and to be part of your lives. Your feedback, encouragement, and connection. You know what? That makes it all worthwhile. Doing this and connecting with you, it's truly amazing and inspirational for me, and I hope you feel the same. So, yay me, yay you, and yay us. It's our partnership that's going to make this thing work. So please, give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to this, follow us, subscribe, and add positive comments. Like us, or even give us a thumbs up. What I'm ultimately saying is that you should connect and engage with us. This podcast is available pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. Simply search for us wherever it is that you do listen to great podcasts. We strive to be among that great list of podcasts that you listen to, rely upon, and find useful. Why am I doing this? I want to create a platform and community where I can share my thoughts, my stories, and my experiences with the sole purpose of connecting with and helping others. I'm also doing this for me, let's be honest. This is an outlet where I can be my authentic self. I want to be that pebble that creates ripples in the waters of life. Simply stated, I want to change the world, and I want you to be a part of that Thriving in the Transition movement. Public service announcement number 1. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. I want to practice what I preach. I absolutely believe that part of my purpose in this life is to connect with others and bring people together. I want to highlight and exemplify the fact that we've got more in common than we do in difference. The differences are much easier to identify, right? We see those every day. But discovering and appreciating the commonalities, that's much more fun. That's much more exciting. So yeah, that's partly why I'm doing this. The other part, or the rest of the story, as to why I'm doing this is that I want to create a forum for those slightly enigmatic and charismatic and inspirational people among us. I want to share their stories about thriving in and during times of transition. That theory, I worked it out in my head, is that hearing about other people succeed will give anyone that may be struggling the motivation and encouragement to continue and thrive in their own respective transitions. So as we get into things, I've got a question. It's a series of questions, but pretend it's one question. Have you ever heard statements like these? It's too late for me. I'm too old. I'm too set in my ways. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'll leave that for the younger folks. That's a young man's game. I wouldn't know where to begin. Now, if you have, you've witnessed self-limiting statements. You've experienced those statements. Those things that we say in our heads that have been made manifest because we spoke them into existence. Now, hopefully I didn't lose anybody, right? Hopefully we didn't lose anybody. I didn't want to get too deep too quickly. And I probably did, but that's okay. We're going to keep moving forward. I'm even more curious. Have you actually said any of those statements? Yeah, you have. I know you have. We all have. And that's okay. But the question then becomes, how do you overcome these self-limiting and negative conversations that we have with ourselves? That's what this conversation is all about. Now, I also want to acknowledge that I've presented some of those statements with a slight age slant. That's because I'm old now, right? I realize that's part of my context. But maybe the statements come out like, I don't have enough experience. I'm too young. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Just the other side of the coin. Those statements and statements like them are rooted in our context, whatever they are. If you want to know more about context, check out Season 2, Episode 17. You'll get my thoughts on context and how we can stop. Just check back and look at Season 2, Episode 17 for my thoughts on context and how they can stop us from moving forward. It's all right there. Just go back to the Thriving in the Transition library. Anyway, today I want to talk about the great artist and painter Vincent Van Gogh. His story is amazing, first of all, but that story holds several keys that can keep us moving forward even when we think it's too late, or whatever that prevailing context is for us that may be stopping you or getting in the way. And I'm going to get all in this topic of Van Gogh right after this little break. So now I've given you this list of practical things that you can do. I just want to give you some time to let that sink in. So let's take a beat here and have you think about how you can use some of this. Man, we're pushing through this, but the video keeps stopping. I'm going to edit it, so it's going to be coherent and stuff. But boy, like I said, it's like ride that weird, awkward bike that's not yours. But we're going to do this. All right, so when I think about Vincent Van Gogh and his life and legacy, these are the things that jump out at me. One, creation. Clearly, he was an artist. He created, and he was prolific as a creator, right? Lots and lots of works in 10 years. This concept of community, his network, he worked with, met with, befriended, made friends with some of the world's greatest artists. It's amazing how great people all know each other. It's like that right now. If you think about the great people that you look up to, they all know each other. That's not by mistake. That's not by coincidence. Number 3, chasing that passion, chasing that purpose, setting a destination, whatever that is for you, and then going after it with everything that you have. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's a risk. But the greater the risk, the greater the reward. And you have to do that in order to be your best self. Now, all 3 of these things directly address that negative self-talk that we talked about at the beginning of the episode, regardless of what your context is or how you look at your transition. You can do it. It's not too late. You can figure it out. You're not alone. Now, what do you think about all this, folks? What things resonate with you? How can you use this episode to continue to move forward in your transition? Go ahead, share your thoughts and responses wherever it is that you listen to this podcast. If you're not comfortable doing that, send me an email directly. I want one day my inbox to be just flooded with emails from you folks telling me what you thought of the episode. I look forward to that. That email address, will.campbell@logicconsulting.com. Logic is with a Q. We absolutely want to hear from you. Public service announcement number 2. Limitations are the domain of the limited. Don't be limited. Folks, that brings us to the end of Thriving in the Transition, Season 3, Episode 2. Thanks for joining us for this breakthrough season. If you're getting something from this podcast, go ahead, give us a 5-star rating wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. Subscribe and add us to that other great list of podcasts that you listen to. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Logic Consulting. Also follow me on Instagram. Hit me up on the gram at Logic_Coach. You know what? Even follow me on Spotify at GQ Down. And not just the podcast, definitely do that. But follow me to discover all the great music that I use to help me thrive in a transition. Reach out on LinkedIn at DJ Will Rock. And don't forget to follow the YouTube channel as well, Thriving in the Transition. And of course, visit the website, www.thrivinginthetransition.com. You can get all of our episodes right from that website. Just go there. While you're there, take a look around, make yourself comfortable, get something to eat. See how else we can connect. Maybe you need a coach or a business consultant or a keynote speaker. I'm here for you. Let's change the world together. Lastly, if you're interested in supporting this podcast and helping us grow, send me an email, a tweet, an IM, a direct message. Better yet, go to my Patreon site, www.patreon.com/TITT for Thriving in the Transition. Become a patron. Just click that Become a Patron button. Most importantly, don't keep this thing that we've got to yourself. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your children. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the U.S., a day of service. We hope...